Welcome to the Business Behind the Scene podcast with Francesca Moi, where we talk all about real business problems, real solutions, and getting actual results in business. Hello, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Business Behind the Scene podcast. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. We are talking about my favorite topic because it was a topic that have actually held me back for a while, and it took me a long time to understand what is a feminine energy and what is a masculine energy and how to leverage from both. So today we talk about how to be strong female in business and still be feminine. I love this because I've been in business now for over 6 years, and I've been looking to have a strong leader, a female leader as a coach to make sure that I could be both. And I haven't found one. And I was looking and I couldn't find a real feminine woman that was in business successfully. Every person that I was coming across was very masculine. So I started to decide, okay, this is the only way to do business, is to be masculine, to be strong. And coming from a very masculine dominated family, even though my mom was part of the family, but she was also very masculine because my dad taught us how to be successful and how to be successful in life in general, and successful in a family, and successful in relationships, is to be strong and masculine, and which actually I don't think that my dad really knew what masculine was. It was more of a macho mentality, and destroy everything around you and just keep going, which is not even masculine, right? Because masculine man is someone that also is very vulnerable and happy to be real, and not just put a mask on and just be strong all the time, because that's not realistic. And so, fascinating enough, we do assume that you cannot be a female in business. You cannot be a strong woman and be feminine at the same time, because nobody's going to take you seriously, because it's just not realistic. It's not going to work, because people are going to take advantage of you, because you can't cry and be a leader, because you can't show emotion and be respected, and all of this is bullshit, by the way. But I know now, and I didn't know before because of my limiting beliefs. And again, it wasn't my dad's fault, it was nobody's fault. I decided and chose to take those things on as a belief. And so I've learned how to be successful, but the thing is, it was very lonely, because who wants to be around a coach and a leader that is masculine and has got that? And I actually don't want to use the word masculine, because it's more a macho type of mentality, because I know a lot of amazing masculine men, and they are not strong, and they're strong, but they're not strong in a way like they are like, I'll destroy everything if it doesn't go my way, right? That's not what masculine is. And unfortunately, in our society, at times we have that feeling that someone is a man only if he's super strong and super don't show emotion and never cries and all of that, which is not true. It's totally not true. It's actually very not attractive if someone is like that, because you're always tiptoeing around them and always afraid of upsetting the beast, right? So I have discovered that at the beginning of my journey in business, I just assumed that the only way I was going to be successful was by being strong and put a mask on and really hide my emotion and hide my weaknesses and hide my fears and just and just keep going. My leader, my coach was Tony Robbins. So and when I say coach, it's like when I was who I was looking up to, who I really wanted to study from, was Tony Robbins. So by going to those events, I was taking in this raw energy and thinking that was the only way to be successful. I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't amazing, because it actually got me to where I am now. So I'm super grateful for Tony, super grateful for teaching me what it taught me. In the same time, I've been in a journey of looking how I can leverage what he's teaching, and at the same time being me and being feminine and be strong in my own, who I am, right? And I love talking about this stuff, because I wish I could find someone to taught me how to do that, because I tried. And every time, listen to this, right? Every time, so I live on the other side of the world by myself. I live in Australia. My family is in Italy. And every single time I would have my mom or my dad or my brother or anybody like that with me, I would soften up. And I would let them into my routine, and I would, because obviously when someone come and visit you from so far, right, they stay a month, 2 months, or or even more at times. So you let them into your routine. You soften a little bit. You soften your schedule. You change your everyday routine. You let someone in. So you open your heart a little bit. And as that happened, when they left, I was going into a complete disaster. Like, I was crying and I was a mess and I couldn't make decisions in business. And I remember thinking, see, this is what happens when I let someone in. I just need to be strong on my own, so that I can control my emotions, so I can be there for my clients, be there for my team. And by myself, I'm stronger. By myself, I'm better. By myself. And I created all those limiting beliefs of, it was an excuse, right? Because I didn't want to feel that emotion of abandonment every time my family would leave the country, and dropping them off at the airport was just so devastating. And reality will kick in of going, you're on your own again, sister. You better get, step back up. There's no time to cry. There's no time to, feel sorry for yourself. You chose this. You chose to live in Australia by yourself. Get up and get going. And I mean, it served me in some sort of ways, because it did get me to where I am in business, and it did get me to success. But the question is, if I did it by being feminine, if I did felt my emotion, if I did not swallow all these things and just feel them along the way, who's telling me that I wouldn't have been successful regardless, right? And so I love looking at that, going, okay, I've been successful by choosing to be, that macho type of personality, and not feeling my emotion, and just swallow my pride, and just keep thinking and believing that by myself I was going to be stronger, and all of that. But what if I didn't? What if I believed that by being feminine and being me and being vulnerable and be gentle and kind, and I wouldn't be successful regardless? I believe that no matter what choice you make in life, your destiny is there. So you're going to be successful regardless. Whatever you choose, you're going to choose success. And success doesn't need to be $1 million business or $2 million business or, $5 million business. It can be being an amazing mother, an amazing wife, an amazing daughter, an amazing friend. And it doesn't need to be necessarily correlated to the money. It doesn't necessarily mean a career. It can be anything you want. Right? Successful means, to me, successful at what you want. So you have to be clear on what you want so that you can feel success. And I didn't think that it was possible. I didn't think I was able to open my heart, because if every time I open my heart, I will be weak. And if I'm weak, I can't make decisions, and I can't be strong, and I can't be there. And so what I've learned is that I can be both. I am both. I've got a masculine energy and I've got a feminine energy, and the masculine energy is that gives me drive, that gives me decisions, that doesn't make me wander, doesn't make me stay in pain for so long. Yes, I feel the pain and I use it and I leverage from it, and then I move on. The masculine energy helps me to move on faster, but the feminine energy helps me to feel, to connect, to be open-hearted. And even with my team, I've lost so many team members because I was such in a macho masculine energy. And, I didn't have any compassion whatsoever. People were like, oh, I can't come to work today, and I would just don't trust it. I would question it. I would feel like, that is not true. Like, come on, definitely they could have come to work for 2 hours at least, right? I didn't have any compassion whatsoever, which, I'm not proud of. But in the same time, it was meant to be. I've learned so much from the person that I chose to be for the last 5 years. And by the way, check out my language. I'm saying I chose to be masculine. I chose that energy because I thought it was going to serve me short term way better. We always make choices because we think that is, less pain. And then long term, that choice got me to be successful in business, but very lonely. Lonely with friends, lonely with clients, lonely with... I had lots of clients, but I didn't feel connected to many of them because I had this huge barrier that was like, no, accessible. Don't come close to me because I will eat you, right? And so I've had such a huge revolution last year, when the first step for me to get into my feminine was getting a dog. And when I got the dog, it was crazy because the dog now wasn't allowing me to be that masculine and that independent anymore. It was a being asking me to stay home and to look after it. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm free, I'm independent, I grow this business so that I can have whatever I want. And now this dog is doing this? No. Get rid of the dog. Get rid of the dog and let's go back into just be me. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that because first and foremost, Ollie Boy got my heart and made me fall in love, madly in love with him. And it's so cute and so adorable that even though for a whole month after I got him, every day I was like doubting that I was going to ever keep him. I thought I was going to give him back. And then I was feeling like all this guilt of going, wow, I can't even love a dog. What's wrong with me? I can't even let a dog in my life. Like, legit. Like, if I can let a dog in my life, imagine a man, imagine a kid, imagine a family. Like, I'm so selfish. I'm so self-centered. It's all about me. But this is not going to help me grow. So I kept the dog because I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to learn unconditional love. And Ollie Boy, no matter what I did, no matter what I said, no matter how I felt about him, no matter how many times I would say to people, I think I have to give him back because it's too much. No matter how many times I would put him in jail, like the dog jail. I was trying to train him and he would drive me insane. And this dog trainer was saying, do you have to put him in jail? And I would put him in jail and he will howl and I will feel so guilty. But that taught me so much about love and so much about open my heart and so much about being feminine and being a leader and still be feminine. And every single client of mine, since I've turned and shifted and felt how good it is to be feminine and be me on stage, offline, online, one-on-one, one-to-many, they come and tell me, Francesca, your energy has shifted. Francesca, something has happened. I've chosen my new identity and I am owning it. It's okay to be a female in business. We actually have so much power, ladies. We have so much power. And men respect a woman in business so much more when she owns her femininity, not when she pretends to be a man. Because when we pretend to be a man, we're actually being in ego, and it's an ego fight, and it just doesn't work because men, they're not attracted to the same type of energy. So this polarity, a man would actually prefer to work with a feminine leader than with a masculine one, because a feminine energy choosing masculine energy, there's ego attached to that. And so I had to start following women. They were feminine in the same time, and they were leaders. There were people that were letting the clients in, but they have set boundaries. And that was massive for me because I've learned, wow, If I set boundaries, if I am feminine, if I am myself, but then I put boundaries on and I allow that to happen, and allow my heart to feel, and I allow to show my vulnerability, then I can do it. I mean, in the transition from being a single masculine energy that will run a business to be feminine, there was a lot of changes. There were a lot of people that didn't like it. There were some team members that had to go because they stopped feeling respectful. They didn't feel respect for me anymore because they thought, oh, now she's weak. And it's okay, because those people wouldn't get it. And it's okay to go through a transition, and it's okay to let people go that don't want to follow your journey. The thing is, I'm so proud of myself for choosing to stay in feminine and choosing to leverage it on my own feminine energy and still be successful in business. It's so refreshing to be able to be the authentic me. And by the way, it doesn't mean that I wasn't authentic before. I was choosing. Being authentic is choosing who you want to be, right? So before, I was choosing to be masculine, and that was the authentic me at the time, because I didn't think there was another version of me. And now that I've found this version of me and I love it, I choose to stay in it. And I choose to feel, and I choose to connect, and I choose to embrace, and I choose also to be decisive and move forward and move fast and go to the next level. But I feel as well. And that doesn't mean that I'm gonna change. Like, I'm not someone that really loves to talk about what have you done this weekend for hours. I just go, okay, this is what I've done. Boom. What have you done? Okay, great. Move on. Right. I'm not someone that loves conversation and small talk. I don't do that. And it's not something that I enjoy. And that doesn't mean that I have to now do things like that to be feminine, right? I'm not one of those women that love to go to a spa and talk about gossiping about other people. That's not who I am. I love to go to a spa and talk about personal development and growth and business and how to change people's lives and how to contribute. And that's what I love doing, right? But that doesn't make me less of a woman. That is what I used to think, that if I was feminine, because I was like not that type of girl or not that type of woman, I didn't think that I was ever going to be feminine. Isn't it fascinating? Until I never thought I was elegant. I never thought I was an elegant woman. I always thought I was very masculine in my being. Isn't that fascinating how we tell ourselves a story because that's how we see ourselves? But you can change that anytime. You can change how you see yourself. You can change how you feel. You can choose how to feel and how to see yourself. That is feminine. Choosing and allowing to stay in that energy. So there's a big difference between being weak and being feminine. When we are weak, we are not allowing emotions. When we're weak, we're pretending to be okay all the time. When we're weak is that we are fakely strong. But when we're feminine, we are allowing those energy to come along, and we are all, crazy. Like we're so crazy. We just change our mind a lot, and we change subject 10 times, right? All of that happens, and it's okay. But there's a very fine line between weak and be feminine. There's a very fine line between sharing what you're going through and be vulnerable, but at the same time saying, and this is how I overcome it, and this is how I did it, and this is how you can do it too. Weak is someone that doesn't want to feel and doesn't want to accept that they've got feelings too. I love it because when you ask some men, what are you afraid of? And some women as well reply this. They say, I don't have any fears. What are you talking about? I'm indestructible. And you go, really? Because what are you afraid about being afraid? And being weak is not accepting that we all have fears. Being weak is pretending that you don't have fears. And from that, I've learned so much. And how did I learn it? I had to go to 3 Days with Destiny to learn the difference between masculine and feminine. I had to go to 3 Days with Destiny to understand what I had to do to be the feminine woman that I always wanted to be. and to accept my feminine side and to be okay to ask for help. That's another huge thing that I was holding on for so long. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to show up and say to people, okay guys, I'm struggling, I need help. I didn't want to do that, and that held me back so much, because we all need help. We all need some help. We can all do with some extra help. And so if you leverage on your feminine energy, you can actually ask for help way better than as a masculine energy. So I would like you to think about that. What is feminine to you? What does that mean? Being feminine means what? And if you were more feminine, how would that look like? How would you feel? How would you react? How many friends would you have? How would you treat them? How many people would you have in your team? How many clients would you have? How would you feel and treat them? And how does it feel to be masculine? So really put the different hats on of masculine and feminine and feel it. And decide which one you want to be. And also do some pro and cons. Because I can guarantee you there will be both pro and cons in both of them. So you can choose to take the feminine hat on and sometimes put it down and go masculine hat. We have both of them. And you can leverage on both of them. You don't have to choose one and never be in the other energy ever. You know, shit hit the fan in the last 2 months, and I had to go in masculine at times, and I had to go, and be firm in the feminine as well, and say, you know what, I appreciate you, but you're not here anymore. You can go. Thank you. See you later. And that was powerful, because I knew who I am, and I knew how I had to react and how I had to deal with that situation, and I had to use both. I had to use a little masculine, a little bit of feminine energy, and the dance between the two made me feel I could achieve anything. And honestly, I still now know that I can achieve anything, because I have the proof that I have achieved everything I've achieved with the masculine energy. And I know that I can pick that back up anytime I want. And I know what is happening in the business since in the last year that I've chosen to be more feminine. Everything is flowing in such a different, a magnetic way that I know that I can pick these up anytime I want. And now that I've got two energies that I can pick up whenever I want, oh, you watch out. You watch out. What's going to happen in 2020? I better strap myself in, because we are in for a ride. It feels good. I feel safe because I've got the masculine side, and I feel fun and I feel flowy because I've got the feminine side, and I embrace both of them. And at times I get afraid that if I'm more into one, I might lose respect. That is just a story. That is just a story that I carried along with me for so many years, that when I get into scarcity, I go back into the story and I think, I need to go masculine because now I lose respect. It's not true. It's not true. It's just a story. So now that you've done your list of, once you've done a list of, what feminine means and what masculine means and the pro and cons, then have a look of how has that been serving you in the last few years, or how has not been serving you, and how you can leverage from using both of them at the right time. I remember going and asking mentors and coaches, how do I stay in feminine? I was trying to become feminine 100% of the time, and that's why there was so much fear, because I didn't want to let go of what I knew it worked. But guess what? What if you don't have to let it go? What if you can choose anytime which one to pick up? What if you can just look at them and say, okay, right now I think I need the masculine hat on, so I'm just going to put it on. And if whenever it doesn't stop serving me, I'm going to put it back down and I'm going to take the feminine back on. What if you could do that? What if you could choose? Oh boy, once you do that, that freedom, it will be with you. That feeling of I can do anything is there. So learn how to leverage from your feminine energy. Don't try to avoid your masculine. Don't try to, to feel bad because you've been in the masculine. It's okay. You can have both of them. If you're a man, listen to this, it's exactly the same for you as well, right? But think about how much you learn from the, whatever energy you chose most in the past. Actually, have you asked yourself that? What is the percentage of each energy? Which one you are more inclined to stay in, and why? Does it feel safer? Does it feel, nobody can touch you there? Does it feel like people can say length away? But why are they away? Is it because they're afraid of you? Is it because they're tiptoeing around you? Ask. Awareness is everything. Once we are aware of why we're behaving the way we're behaving, and it's not happening to us. See, I used to think the masculine was happening to me. I was thinking that that's how I was, I came into this life masculine. That's it. It's not true. I actually realized that when I was little, I was so feminine. And then when I was 5 years old, my dad said, "You're now a young woman. I can't touch you anymore. I can't hug you anymore. I can't, have you in my laps anymore. You have to be on your own. Don't hug me. Don't touch me. This is it." My dad has this major, fear of, you couldn't, that's it. You're a 5-year-old now. You need to stand on your own. And he was trying to build this strong little boy inside of me. And I was like, he would cut my hair short, right? And people used to think I was a boy. And so that has created this ego personality in me that is actually Francesco. And that Francesco, when it comes out, is not very nice, because he feels he has to protect himself. He feels like he has to protect me, the little girl inside, right? So Francesco is that personality that I chose to put on when I was 5 and when I felt rejected from my dad. And then on top of that, when I started to grow up and all my girlfriends were playing Barbies and playing games, I felt like I was missing out because I was a toy boy. And so I decided to put a feminine energy on top of my masculine energy. So I didn't go back to who I really was. I just kept putting personalities on top of personalities. So now this Franchi was on top of Francesco, and it was just, trying to be feminine, but it just didn't work out. So as I grew older, I became, more masculine. So Francesco came out again. And so there was this fight between Franchi and Francesco on who we had to be. But the real me was still stuck underneath those two personalities. And the real me came out now. The real me, the one that I can have both of these energies and be okay and play and have a dance with them, is now there. I found her. She was squashed. She wasn't heard. She wasn't seen. And that was powerful. When I realized that I was putting all these personalities on top of my real personality, and when I found that identity of the person that I really wanted to be since I was little, then it's been so freeing to let go of these two masks and to choose the mask that it's me. Because if you think about it, we all wear masks, but why don't we wear the mask that we actually want to? Why don't we choose the mask that we want to wear instead of just fake it? Why don't we choose the mask that feels right to us? So with this, I'm going to leave you with these thoughts and this homework of really connect to your energies and understanding which one you want to be, and knowing that you can be both, and knowing that you can leverage on both of those energy, I feel is the best. Because now I don't have to choose to be feminine. I can choose whatever I want. And that is, to me, is power. So if you've been wondering that, please leave a note and let me know, has this podcast impacted you, helped you in any way? Because I love your feedback, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that's been leaving reviews and letting me know how these podcasts are going. And I look forward to talk to you next week, guys. And come and make sure and check out the mastermind that we are doing. We started in February and it's been mind-blowing, the results and the things that people are already going through. Love it, love it, love it. And we already have the Italian retreat completely fully booked in June, and we have the Bali retreat that is already half full. So if you want to come to retreat with me, then send us a message on the Meetup Queen on Facebook and we'll be able to help you out, see if we can come to our retreat. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, then you have to come check out the Entrepreneur's Abundance Mindset Mastermind. It's my monthly mastermind where you get to spend time with me, where we take all this material, we apply it, we study it, and so we can take your business to a whole new level. So just go to the Francesca Moi, the Meetup Queen Facebook business page, and then just send me a message and you'll be able to choose the option EAM Mastermind. I would love to have you join me there, and I'll see you next week.